Hello, I'm Rex Lita with the Midday News. Proposed amendments to the Criminal Code Act aim to combat domestic terrorism in Papua New Guinea. The amendments currently being drafted by the Minister for Internal Security, MP Peter Chamalili Jr., and Commissioner for Police David Manning seek to empower law enforcement agencies with increased capabilities to tackle domestic terrorism activity. The proposed amendments to the Criminal Code Act are part of Papua New Guinea's effort to confront the growing threat posed by domestic terrorism. Established penalty for these offences are grant explicit powers for investigating and responding to the acts. Commissioner David Manning emphasizes that international organized crime networks are behind these acts of terror, which include kidnapping, killing, rape, and other violent crimes. The government intends to introduce comprehensive legislation that will enable law enforcement to effectively combat these criminals. Prime Minister James Marape has pledged his support behind the government for NCD and the city administration to develop and transform the city for convenience of the country and the people. As a token, he committed 20 million kina towards the project, plans being undertaken by the NCDC. He added that it is the start of the partnership to make the city a safer place for everyone. He also added that those who cannot abide by the city laws, then he will then open up the Bomana prison to confine them there.
City, na you less Lobianim Loblo City, now you stop. Bami making Bomana, na hoping Bomana Moyet. Now you can go to Bomana. You can go to Bomana. No apologies to anyone.
A rural community in the Sumkar district has taken steps to raise funds to rebuild its church building. Murukaman village in Sumginkar LLG Midday province is hosting a church rally to draw support, both financially and spiritually. Fundraising committee chairman of St. Peter's Church, Thaddeus Swam, stated that upon consultation with professional builders, the community will need 150,000 kina for maintenance work. If they opted to renovate, the amount it is bound to increase. The committee is expecting more people to attend events from as far as Middle Ramu and Raikos district. They are also invited the Medan governor to join in the closing ceremony this Saturday. The Papua New Guinea Australia Alumni Association hosted an annual dinner fundraising Thursday night to support community projects and celebrate the outstanding contributions of over 5,000 members. The events aim to serve as a platform to foster productive relationships between Australia and Papua New Guinea.
Prime Minister James Marape attended the Papua New Guinea Australia Alumni Association hosted a fundraiser annual dinner Thursday evening. He thanked Australia for the sponsorship of scholarships for Papua New Guineans to access education.
And I want to thank Australian taxpayers, Australian government for the sponsorship of some who've been sponsored. Thank you for sponsoring my fellow Papua New Guineans. That sponsorship has paid off well. Most, if not all, have come back home and are good contributors to the development of Papua New Guinea. They have taken up leadership at private sector, in the public service, and in the community.
Marape said the partnership ensures that Papua New Guineans are well trained with the best international knowledge and skills.
To graduate them, not just to be seasonal fruit pickers and come back. And if they do come back, they come back with the skills and the savings to participate in business back home.
Julie Bishop, Chancellor of the Australian National University, said currently statistics shows that in 2019, about 12,000 PNG students who studied in Australia have come back home to develop PNG. She added that the people-to-people partnership carries with it values of democracy, freedom, democratic institutions, and open export market economy that continues to grow stronger. Australia High Commissioner to PNG John Field said Australia invests in education because it is the most important sector.
We talk a lot amongst ourselves about PNG's wonderful and amazing resource base, and it's incredible. But PNG's most important resources are its people. And education and investment in education is the best way to make use of any of Papua New Guinea's resources, is that investment in people of PNG through education.
The presentation of the 2021 and 2022 Alumni Awards was held also during the event. Tracy Pa, TVWan News.
As the yeast in today's human family was the theme of this year's Wantok Bosco Youth Camp hosted at Don Bosco Technical Campus from June 23rd to 25th. The camp, a climate of the youth and club, had nearly 200 persons as participants and animators from Salesian institutions and parishes around Port Moresby and Aramari in Gulf Province.
The Bishop Wantok Youth Camp program begins on Friday, June 23, with the first talk given by Father Gregorio Bicomong, the provincial supervisor for PGS Vice Province. His talk, based on the year's Stegner, showed participants statistics on issues faced within the country, while also advocating how everyone could be agents of social change within their societies using the social teachings of the Catholic Church. The students reflected on the presentation through group discussions and sharing. Father Ambrose Ferreira gave the second talk based on agents of social change through the use of social media. The talk taught the youth the basic of artificial intelligence. The young people then produced jingles and created posters to spread positive messages through the media. The session encouraged participants to use social media for the common good and to direct their talents and energies using the media to advocate positive changes within their schools and communities. The talks for the camp were concluded later in the evening with the talk show. Youths were encouraged to foster values based on their Catholic faith that will help them in their career pathways. The question and answer session that followed demonstrated the quest of the young to live good lives despite the difficulties and pressures they face. Tracy Pa, TVWan News.
In regional news, police in Tasmania hold grave concerns for missing Belgian tourist Celine Kremer, believing it's unlikely she survived the unforgiving wilderness. Attention has turned to the waterfall Miss Kremer was visiting, where searchers say weather conditions are expected to deteriorate further.
Through a wet and wild rainforest. These searchers are almost as quiet as the forest around them. As they look under logs and in tree hollows, places a lost walker might seek shelter. Celine Kremer had been travelling around Tasmania for most of this year. The last reported sighting of her was at the old mining town of Waratah. She was due to sail to Victoria more than a week ago, but her sister says she had more adventuring to do here first.
She says to us, don't be worried, I will go on trek, I will go visit, and maybe I don't have a signal on my phone, so don't be worried.
Celine's car was found near Philosopher Falls, which is a moderate 45-minute hike from the car park. Celine is believed to have only been prepared for a light, reasonably short walk. Conditions here are extremely cold, with rain and snow falling over the past week, which is of concern to those conducting her search. In fact, late today, police said they'd been given expert advice Celine can't have survived, but that they'll continue their search, including around the basin of the waterfall she had clearly planned to visit.
There are still some areas that we wish to continue to look for Celine in the hope that we find something that provides some closure for her family and her friends.
A sad development for her family in Belgium.
She lost family, she lost her friend, she loves to do party, go because we are Belgian, so we like party. She was a normal person with ambition and dreams.
For now, the Philosopher Falls track will remain closed.
In sports, minor premiers of the 2023 Port Moresby men's softball competition Power are favourites to book the first grand final sport in 2 weeks' time when they face an equally strong contender United Brothers in the major semi-final playoffs 1 p.m. this Sunday at the Bissini Softball Park. Power, coming off a bye last week, have been consistent throughout the season regulation rounds, but won't be taking Brothers lightly after smashing defence 5-0 last week for the right to meet the minor premiers this Sunday. Meanwhile, defence will have another crack when they meet Moni Plus Gazelle in the main A-grade elimination final at 3 p.m. In the B-grade preliminary, defence will play Moni Plus Gazelle at 9 a.m. while Kikila Cats face off with Eastern Aces in the do or die at 11 a.m. The SP PNG Hunters will not be taking the visiting Central Queensland Capras lightly when the two teams go head-to-head at the Santos National Football Stadium this Saturday in round 16 of the Queensland Rugby League Host Plus Cup. Assistant coach Paul Aiton said the Hunters would be wary of a formidable Capras outfit that will showcase a number of former SP Hunters, including current Kumul Nixon Poot. After picking up a rare win against 2017 Intrust Super Cup Grand Final rivals Falcons last Saturday, Aiton has indicated the Hunters would be fielding an unchanged lineup against Capras tomorrow.
We're just focusing on the Capras. I know we've got a lot of our Papua New Guineans in there, a lot of our brothers in there, especially the Hunters boys that have gone in there. So they're going to come here wanting to win. We know that it's Nixon Poot's last game up here while he's in the Host Plus Cup. So they're looking to send him off really well. And you know, I like Nixon, but unfortunately for him, we need the win more. So our boys are going to be prepared for that.
The quarter-final draw has been made following the completion of the group stage at the Oceania Football Confederation Under-19 Women's Championship in Fiji. New Caledonia finished on top in Group A. New Caledonia tops Group B. In Group C, the Cook Islands settle for top spot.
Group A runners-up Samoa will play Tahiti in the first quarter-final at the HFC Bank Stadium in Suva this Saturday. The second quarter-final on Saturday will feature Group A winners New Caledonia against hosts Fiji, who finished runner-up in Group B. Sunday's first quarter-final puts defending champion New Zealand and Group B winners against Group C runner-up Solomon Islands. Group C winners Cook Islands will play Vanuatu in the last of the quarter-finals on Sunday night. The Cook Islands beat Solomon Islands 1-0 in the final Group C match to top the group and approach their quarter-final against Vanuatu with confidence. In a match spanning more than 120 minutes due to a first-half power cut at the HFC Bank Stadium, which halted play for 30 minutes, the Cook Islands had on balance the better chances and deserved the win. Salome Vincent, TVWan Sports.
And that ends the midday news. More to come at the 6 this evening.